Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So good evening everyone. Welcome to the Śrī Īśopaniṣad class. Everyone can hear me okay?
Good evening, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
All right, very good. So let's see, now we'll do a little revision. But let me go to PowerPoint. Is everyone able to see this?
Yes, Maharaj, very clearly.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, good. Okay, remember section 1? What's the first section? Mantras 1 to 3. What's the subject matter? Who can say? One person? Who's going to say? Rukmini Pati Prabhu.
Kota, Maharaj. Everyone has to have their own quota. They cannot be too greedy and take everything.
Okay, everybody. And what happens if you take more than your quota? What happens if you just take your quota?
We come engrossed in the material conception, and we will lose our spiritual activities, Maharaj.
Okay, what's the first part? What's the first mantra? Do you know the first mantra yet? Have you memorized it yet?
No, Maharaj.
Really? You haven't memorized it? Everybody chant with me. Isavashyamidam sarvam. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Tena chaktena bunjitaha. Magradaha kashasvidanam. Anybody know the translation? Anybody memorize translation yet? Anyone? Punita. Punita is there. Huh? Hare Krishna.
I will try, Maharaj. Everything animate and inanimate that is within this universe is controlled and owned by the Lord.
Yes, that's the first half. Very good. Everybody have to get this part right. Everything animate and inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. Therefore,
One should only take what is necessary, set aside for him, set aside as the quota.
right. Therefore, one should accept only those things necessary for himself. One should not accept more, knowing well to whom they belong. Right?
Yes.
And then the second mantra describes what happens if you do that, if you just take your quota. What's the result? What does the second mantra say? What will be the result? One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he goes on doing work in that way. In other words, you have a long life, right? You get a long life. That's what the mantra says. And if you don't follow that, if you take more than your quota, what's the result? Mantra 3 says, you enter into the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, so first mantra, first section describes the proprietorship, that the Lord is the supreme proprietor, and then the laws of God that we should take what we need, don't take more. If you take more, you suffer, you get reactions. And if you just take your quota, you get good results. Section 2, mantras 4 to 8. What's being described? Anybody remember? Very quiet. I can't hear you. Anybody there?
Yes, Maharaj.
Vision
A vision of the Mahabhagavata.
Yes, a vision of the Mahabhagavata. So, what's the vision of the Mahabhagavata? How does he see all living entities?
With qualities, with one with Lord.
Yeah, in quality, one with the Lord, right? Different in quantity, but in quality, one with the Lord. And how does he see the Lord?
See oneness by hearing from authority.
Yes.
Huh? How does he see the Lord?
Ekatvan anupashyat.
Ekadvan anupashyata means in quality one with the Lord. But then mantra 8 goes on to describe his vision, how he sees the Supreme Lord. What are some of the qualities of the Lord?
He has a spiritual body
Yeah, he's unembodied.
without wings.
Unembodied. So he's a spiritual body, he's without veins, yeah.
Sachit Ananda Vigraha.
Satchitananda.
Maharaj.
Well, that's not mentioned in the verse. Yes, well, omnipotent, yes. Each of the senses can perform the actions of other senses. And remember, Shuddham apapavidam, right? Shuddham apapavidam, meaning
Shuddha means antiseptic. And apapa means probability saying cannot touch.
yeah, like that pure. Shuddham is pure, and apavidam uncontaminated, cannot be contaminated, or antiseptic and prophylactic, right? So that's how he sees the Supreme Lord, like that. The vision of the Mahabhagavata, right? Great devotee. And then next section, mantras 9 to 14. We're looking first of all at the absolute and the relative. Absolute knowledge and then relative knowledge. The first 3 mantras were describing like this. So we were hearing absolute knowledge is called vidya, and relative knowledge is avidya. So when you, what is the purpose of education? We generally think education, you go to college, you get some qualification, you study something. What kind of knowledge are you getting there?
Avidya.
Avidya, yes, avidya, right. We're getting on, but what is the real purpose of education?
Spiritual knowledge, Vidya.
Character
Well,
building, Maharaj.
yes, character building, that's right. You should develop our character. We go for education. You want to develop character. This Krishna conscious movement is meant for developing people of good character, right? Good character, that's real knowledge. And what are the signs that a person's got good character? What will be some of his qualities?
Humility and prayerlessness.
I cannot hear you, your voice is not clear.
Is it humility and prayerlessness, Maharaj?
You have to say it again, it's not clear yet.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Is it humility and prayerlessness?
Yes, that's the first items of knowledge. Very good. Humility and pridelessness. Yes. Any more qualities?
He should not cause trouble to anybody.
Okay. They should mention brahmachari. Brahmachari control their senses. If they're good brahmacharis, then they can make good householders also. Not that because they're brahmachari, they cannot marry, but they'll be good husbands and good fathers when they're good brahmacharis. So brahmachari training is important. But today, young men, they don't want to be brahmacharis. They don't want that kind of training. They're not developed humility. They haven't got good character. And so the education is not good. So this kind of education is required. And we were reading the different qualities, beginning with humility and pridelessness, and then accepting a spiritual master. What should be the result of all that? What kind of results will come about? By getting training in the brahmachari and taking a spiritual master and being humble and without pride. Then what will be the result?
Become an unalloyed devotee of the Lord.
Yes, they'll become pure devotees, they'll become unalloyed devotees. And when they become good devotees, they will also have, what happens when somebody becomes a devotee? What qualities follow along with devotion? Along with devotion comes two things: knowledge and detachment. Gyan and Vairagya, or knowledge and detachment. Knowledge of the absolute and detachment from the material. These two things come where there is real devotion, pure devotion, right? So we were talking yesterday, and the day before, we heard about people who have knowledge, but it's all wrong knowledge. And they teach people, but they teach them the wrong things. So do you know some of these people who do this kind of thing? They're miseducators. They're teaching, but they're teaching the wrong thing, the wrong answers. Nandini, do you know?
Yes, Maharaj.
Tell me then.
Veda Vadarata,
Yeah. Who are they? Who's Vedavadarata?
one who knows or claims to know Vedas, but they are diverted from the purpose of the Vedas.
Okay. And the other one?
Maya Yaprita Jnana,
Yeah. Maya Aparita Jnana means what?
they are self-made gods.
Self-made God. Yeah. The actual meaning of Maya Aparita Jnana is
One who's
knowledge.
not
Stolen by illusion.
Yes, knowledge stolen by illusion. Yeah. So yeah, they may pretend, they may say that they're God and like that, or they're the Acharya, but they don't follow anything. Like, and there's another person also who is also a miseducator. Prabhupada said the atheistic demon. If one is atheistic demon, he's also a miseducator. Three kinds of people: teaching the people the wrong things. The atheistic demon, the Veda Vadarata, people who mouth the Vedas, and the Maya Aparita Jnana, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. So then yesterday we spoke about balancing Vidya and Avidya. So one who knows both Vidya and Avidya, then he can transcend the wheel of birth and death. So we have to know about Vidya. How do we know that? How do we learn about Vidya?
by hearing from a Dhira,
Yes, very good. And what will the Dhira be speaking from?
from authoritative sources, which is from disciplic succession,
Okay, what kind of books will they be speaking from?
Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yes, right. They'll be preaching the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad. And how do we learn about Avidya? Avidya then?
Avidya is material education.
Also, do we need to go? Do we need to go to material? Do we need to go to the college to get this knowledge of Avidya? Maybe we need to go into the material world and go and associate with all the karmis and all the mudhas. Go with all the atmahas, all the people who kill the souls. Then we'll learn more about Avidya. Is it?
No, but a cultivation of avidya is needed to just to maintain the body healthily.
So how do we do that?
Maharaj, can I answer?
Yes. Good.
Do our daily activities with regulated senses.
Yeah, that's part of it. But how do we learn all this? Well, we have to practice those 18 items of knowledge. Those 18 items of knowledge will help us to develop all the knowledge of both Vidya and Avidya. Just like in Krishna consciousness, you know, we learn about cleanliness. We learn, like when people come to they often don't know to eat prasadam just with the right hand. And maybe before they became devotees, they were meat eaters, they were using two hands. They don't know you're supposed to eat with the right hand and don't touch prasadam with the left hand. They don't know these things. And they don't know about taking your shoes off when you going in the home or into the temple. They don't know about taking bath regularly, and especially after going to the toilet, you have to take a bath, and these kind of things. Cleanliness, so cleanliness is taught in the Krishna consciousness movement. And we also learn, as we said, good character. How do we develop the good character? Oh, by being in the in the pure atmosphere, by being in the atmosphere which is influenced by the mode of goodness. Then it will help us to develop the good qualities and to know what is the proper standard of behavior. Waking up early in the morning is also important. So this is all things which we learn in the Krishna consciousness movement. We learn to keep everything clean, like we wash our cloth every day, and we clean the kitchen nicely after cooking. So many things as devotees we learn to be regulated. We learn not to speak harshly, not to speak nasty words, to speak properly, to speak the truth. These kind of things. This is cultivating avidya. This is all avidya, this kind of knowledge. It's not transcendental knowledge, but it's mundane knowledge, right? And we also learn to practice religion, right? What is the purpose of religion? Do you remember? We heard yesterday.
Self-realization.
People sometimes think religion is you go to temple and you pray to God to give you a good home, to give you a new job, to give you money, to give you a child, these kind of things, you know. We go to God to ask something, but actually real religion is meant for self-realization, right? To understand ourselves and our relationship with God, right? That's real religion. So religion, economic development, we have to have some income, we have to work, or we have to do some business or something, find some way in which we can maintain our life. So economic development is required. And with economic development, then sense gratification. We are allowed sense gratification. Prabhupada says sense gratification is like salt. Just like when you cook. If you put too much salt in the food, it's no good. And if there's no salt, oh, it's also no good. So the salt has to be just right. So sense gratification. Remember, what is sense gratification? What activities are sense gratification?
Eating, sleeping.
Yes. What else? Eating, sleeping only. What else?
Defending.
Meat eating.
Yes, right.
Depending.
Yeah, we have to do these things. These things go on, but they're regulated and controlled, right? That is a part, the avidya, part of the avidya education, that we learn what to eat and what not to eat. And we learn also how much to sleep. And we learn also how to produce good children, how to have good children in the religious way. So all of this goes on. This is the culture of avidya and vidya, mundane knowledge along with spiritual knowledge. Okay? So today we're going to go on to the second part, the terms of worship. We'll hear about the worship, different demigods and impersonalism and these kind of things. So this is an important part of the Īśopaniṣad, 9 to 14, in terms of knowledge and then in terms of worship. And then the final section, which we'll do at the end, prayer at the time of death. Okay? So the absolute and the relative terms of knowledge. Andam tamaha pravishanti yevidyam upasyate tatabuya ivate tamo yavidyam lata. Okay, so we studied this. Modern civilization has advanced considerably, mass education, but people are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement, to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect. The advancement of learning by godless people is as dangerous as a jewel on the head of a cobra. Cobra decorated with a jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated. A godless civilization directed towards so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the mass of people are less educated. And we are asked, how would you present this statement to a modern audience? So we have to explain to them the importance of character and how the modern education does not produce people of good character, but we consider character as very important because it's character which will impress a person more than just education, material qualification. Person may be materially educated, but he may be of the lowest character. And we see the example in Krishna Lila. Remember how Kamsa was ready to kill Vasudeva because there was a voice from the sky. He told Kamsa that, oh Kamsa, you're such a fool. The 8th child of your sister Devaki will kill you. So when Kamsa heard this, he was going to kill his sister Devaki. But Vasudeva was there. Vasudeva had just married Devaki. So Vasudeva told Kamsa, oh no, please don't kill her. And he preached to him about the soul and so on. He preached philosophy, but still Kamsa was going to kill Devaki. But then he promised Kamsa that, look, I will give you our children. After our children are born, I'll give them to you. You can take them, do what you like with them. But please don't kill my wife. And so when Kamsa heard this, he agreed because he considered character to be more important. So he trusted the character of Vasudeva. The philosophy didn't matter much to him, but the character was important. So character impresses people more than just education. So some people may be well educated, but lowest character, not good. Mantra 10. Oh. One should become a perfect gentleman, learn to give proper respect, right? Amanitvam, adambitvam, humility, prideless, be humble. Young men are very proud. They're in the bodily concept, wrong type of education, education based on the body. How should you relate to senior devotees? May not have completed a Bhakti Shastri degree. We should be humble, right? Humility is very important. If we can all be humble, so we must try to think of ourselves in terms of our spiritual dimension. 1/10,000, the tip of the hair. That is our actual size. And then mantra 11, the process of nations, side by side, can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death. So don't make one-sided attempts. Don't just go only on the material. We need to also cultivate spiritual knowledge. We have to understand the soul. We have to understand at the same time the needs of the body. You can't neglect the body. You have to take care of it. But we need also spiritual knowledge. If we just have only material knowledge, then it's no good. So we have a balanced program. We have to have both. We give the example, the train goes on 2 tracks, one for the spiritual knowledge, one for the material knowledge. If you just have only one track or the tracks are not level, what will happen? Train will turn over, right? You get the train turning over sometimes because the tracks are not level. There must be a balanced program between the material and the spiritual. Is it all right? How does the process given by Srila Prabhupada enable us to achieve a balanced program, spiritual and material knowledge? Well, that is the Krishna conscious program. Wake up early in the morning, chant Hare Krishna, and then morning program, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then work. Do some service for Krishna, go to job or work in the temple, clean, do the cooking, deity worship, many things. So balanced program, spiritual and material. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Let me finish this. Any questions? No? Everybody okay? Okay, we're going to go ahead. We have to go up to the next mantra. Engaged text number 12, right? Everybody ready? Who's going to read? Let me see who's not read for a while. Oh yeah. Madhuri Tulsi Maraji.
Yes, Maharaj, I read.
Okay, read the Sanskrit first, one line at a time.
Andam tama pravishanti.
Pravishanti.
Ye sambhuti upasate.
Ye
Tato bhuya iva te tamo.
Bhuya eva te tamo.
Yayu sambhutyam rataha.
Yayusam rataha.
Okay, go ahead, translation.
Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. The Sanskrit word asambhuti refers to those who have no independent existence. Sambhuti is the absolute personality of Godhead, who is absolutely independent of everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 2, the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna states, Nami vidu suragana prabhavam na maharsaya aham adirhi devanam maharsinam sa sarvasaha. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin of opulences. For in every aspect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. Thus, Krishna is the origin of the powers delegated to demigods, great sages, and mystics. Although they are endowed with great powers, these powers are limited, and thus it is very difficult for them to know how Krishna himself appears by his own internal potency in the form of a man.
Okay, so we hear about demigods. Who are these demigods? Can you tell me the names of some of these demigods? I think in Malaysia we don't say usually demigods. We will say devas. We say the Deva temple. But in Krishna consciousness, we always say demigods. Prabhupada calls them demigods. But in Malaysia, the Hindu Sangam especially, they don't like this. They say it's not fair. You shouldn't say like that. They're devas.
Devas, yes, Maharaj.
So
Varuna, Indra,
Varuna, Indra,
Kartikeya.
Kartikeya.
Ganesh.
Yeah. What about Lord Shiva?
Yeah, Lord Shiva.
What about Marimam?
Mariamma, yes, Maharaj.
So how many demigods are there? Do you know?
33,000.
33 million.
330 million demigods.
33 lakhs. I'm not sure, Maharaj.
330 million. 33 crore.
Oh,
Right?
33 crore, okay.
1 crore is 10 million. So 33 crores.
Wow.
Yeah. So many demigods, right? Of course, we know the main ones. There are some main ones. And there are great sages also. So there's demigods, great sages, and mystics. And Krishna is the origin of all them. So, although they are endowed with great power, these powers are limited. Very difficult for them to know how Krishna himself appears in the form of a man by his own internal potency. So we can understand how Krishna is so much greater than all of these demigods and great sages and mystics. Krishna is the supreme. He said, neither the demigods nor the sages know about Krishna. They don't know Krishna's origin or his opulences. Why? Because Krishna is the source of it. They all come from him. Just like we don't know much about our mother and father because we come from them. We don't know them. We don't know much about them. And so same way, the great sages and the yogis, the demigods, they all come from Krishna. Can you go ahead, Maharaji? Read the next paragraph.
Yes, Maharaj. Many philosophers and great rishis or mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. These can only help them reach the negative conception of the absolute without realizing any positive trace of the absolute. Definition of the absolute by negation is not complete. Such negative definition lead one to create a concept of one's own. Thus, one imagines that the absolute must be formless and without qualities. Such negative qualities are simply the reversals of relative material qualities and are therefore also relative. By conceiving of the absolute in this way, one can at the utmost reach the impersonal effulgence of God known as Brahman. But one cannot make further progress to Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead.
Okay, so Prabhupada is talking here about the absolute. Absolute means, who is the absolute? Ultimately, what is the absolute?
Personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, the absolute. He's the personality of Godhead. Just another way of describing the personality of Godhead. He's absolute. So the absolute from the relative. Absolute means supreme in all situations. And the relative is like the demigods. They're, sometimes they're supreme. Some different aspects they're supreme, but they're small. They're not like the absolute. So some people try to understand the absolute. Prabhupada says they make a negative conception. Try to understand the absolute by negative conception. And what they do such things like they imagine the absolute must be, how do they consider the absolute? By negative conception. What do they do? They think that the absolute will not have a form. He won't be a person. He won't have form. And he won't have any qualities. So they say, no form, no qualities. no person, no hands, no eyes, no legs. They say like that. This is negative definitions. They say, oh, he cannot walk, he cannot talk, he cannot hear, he cannot see. Like they say all of these things. They're trying to describe the Lord. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj, now we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj, now we can hear you.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, yes. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we're back again. Okay, so this is what this is how the impersonalists do like this. They want to negate everything. They say, no, he cannot be a person. Why not? Because I'm a person. So the absolute, he must be greater than me. I'm a person, so he cannot be a person. He must be something else. So like that, they say, no, he's not a person. I have a form. If he has a form, his form must be like mine. They cannot understand that he has a spiritual form. And they think he has no qualities because I have qualities. So they think if he has qualities, then he'd be a person like me. But no, he has spiritual qualities. So they try to make everything negation. No form, no person, no qualities, cannot talk, cannot walk, like this. So this is not how to understand. This is not the correct way to understand the absolute. So if we try to understand that way, the only thing they'll come to know is the Brahman, the impersonal effulgence, which is called the Brahman. The Brahman. They'll know the Brahman, but they won't know Bhagavan. That's the problem. They'll only know one part of the absolute. Remember the elephant? We were talking about the elephant. They know the elephant. They only know one part of the elephant. They don't know the whole part. So some people only know the Brahman. They don't know the Bhagavan. So this is the impersonalism. They try to understand by negation. That cannot be a person, I'm a person. But they can be a spiritual person. So we want them to understand these things. Okay, we'll go ahead. Somebody else can read. Who's not read for a while here? Suryanga Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, you can read.
Yeah, okay, Maharaj. Such mental speculators do not know that the absolute personality of Godhead is Krishna, that the impersonal Brahman is the glaring effulgence of his transcendental body, or that the Paramatma, the supersoul, is his all-pervading plenary representation. Nor do they know that Krishna has his Krishna. So I cannot see Maharaj. Maharaj, I cannot see the passage.
You cannot see?
Okay. Nor do they know Krishna has his eternal form with its transcendental qualities of eternal bliss and knowledge. The dependent demigods and great sages imperfectly consider him to be a powerful demigod, and they consider the Brahman effulgence to be the. But the devotees of Krishna, by dint of their surrendering unto him in unalloyed devotion, can know that he is the absolute person and that everything emanates from him. Such devotees continuously render loving service unto Krishna, the fountainhead of everything.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So we're learning some more about Krishna. You see that there are different features of the absolute, that the absolute can be Brahman, the Absolute can be Paramatma, and the Absolute can also be Bhagavan. Bhagavan means Krishna, and the Paramatma means the Super Soul everywhere, in everyone's heart, in every atom. And the Brahman is just it's the energy, the light which comes from Krishna's body. So these three features are all related to Krishna. So the demigods and great sages, sometimes they cannot understand even, sometimes they also cannot understand Krishna. And sometimes they think Brahman is the absolute truth. But the devotees of Krishna know that the Brahman is only the energy of Krishna, the light, right? The Brahman, you come to the light has a source. You have to get the light. Where does the light, where is the power coming from for the light? So this Brahman is the light, it's the effulgence. It's coming from the body of Krishna. So we have to go through the light to come to Krishna. Go on to come to Krishna. Okay? So Tanusha Mataji, can you read for us, please?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'll read. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.20 and 23, it is said that only unintelligent, bewildered persons driven by a strong desire for sense gratification worship the demigods for the temporary relief of temporary problems. Since the living being is materially entangled, he has to be relieved from material bondage entirely to attain permanent relief on the spiritual plane, where eternal bliss, life, and knowledge exist. Śrī Īśopaniṣad therefore instructs that we should not seek temporary relief of our difficulties by worshipping the dependent demigods who can bestow only temporary benefit. Rather, we must worship the absolute personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is all attractive and who can bestow upon us complete freedom from material bondage by taking us back home, back to Godhead.
Okay, so have you ever worshipped the demigods? Did you go to Deva temple?
Earlier, Maharaj, before
Yes.
I came.
Yeah, before you became devotee, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Which temple did you go to? Which Deva?
Lord Shiva.
Okay, what did you pray for?
Actually,
Pray for a husband? Did you pray for husband there?
No, Maharaj.
No.
because I was small that time, so I didn't pray anything properly.
No. Oh, you didn't know to pray?
Yes, Maharaj.
So what kind of things can you pray for if you go to Deva temple? Usually, what do people pray for when they go?
Jobs.
They pray for jobs, and then they pray for their sense gratification, Maharaj.
Yeah, like what?
Like they want to get good job, good life partner, and then they have all like they want to have good money, good education.
Yeah.
Pass exams.
Yeah, but before the exam, we go and pray to people, right? Go and pray to Saraswati, or some people, they come and they pray to Krishna. I know the temple in Calcutta is just beside the Hindi high school. There's one Hindi high school there. So when there's a big exam, all the parents, they'll all come, they'll all pray at the temple. Why? Because their son or their daughter is doing a big exam. So they come and they pray. And they'll pray also to Saraswati especially. for learning, help pass exam. At Tirupati, many people come, they shave the head, offer their hair to Balaji before the exam. They come and they want to get some help. So some people, they pray to the demigods. If we want money, usually we'll pray to who?
Lakshmi Devi.
Lakshmi, right.
Now they are praying to Kubera Maharaj.
Now they're praying to Kuvera for money, are they? They don't pray to Lakshmi. Pray to Kuvera. Some are praying to Kuvera. Okay. And what about if you have a health problem? Who should you pray to?
I'm not sure, Maharaj.
Some
Well,
pray to the Navagrahas, Maharaj.
The sun god, right? Surya, pray to the sun god usually, because if you know the sun god, very powerful. You go in the sunlight, light of the sun is very good for health. So you have some health problems, often people will pray to the sun god. And if we want to get some rain, if you're a farmer and you want rain, who do you pray to?
Lord Indra.
Right, yeah, do Indra Yagya, right, yeah. So like that, all of these. So what's the problem with praying to all these demigods? Why shouldn't we do this?
Because it's only for temporary purpose, Maharaj.
Yeah, right. It's only temporary. There'll be something else after that, right?
Yes.
So we can only get some temporary benefit. If we just pray to the demigods, we go to one god and pray to them, then go to another god and pray to that one. So we see sometimes some temples, they have many gods in the temple. And you ask them, which one is the god? They say they're all the god.
Yes, Maharaj.
Because they're thinking, what are they thinking?
Because we are thinking that everyone is the same. So that's why they pray to everyone.
Yeah, they think they're all the same. Yeah. They think ultimately only one, so they're all the God. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam also tells like that. Atri Muni and Anasuya, they wanted to get the Lord. They wanted to have the Lord as their child. But they had 3 children. They got 3 children. And so they said, which one of you is God? And they said, we're all God. One was Brahma, one was Vishnu, one was Shiva. So they said, the 3 of them said, we're all God. So they were God of the material world. But God, Krishna is the God of the spiritual world. So we should worship Krishna because he will give us real freedom from the material world, take us back to God. Okay? Ram Gopinath Prabhu, you can read for us.
It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.23 that the worshippers of the demigods can go to the planets of the demigods. The moon worshippers can go to the moon, the sun worshippers to the sun, etc. Modern scientists are now venturing to the moon with the help of rockets, but this is not really a new attempt. With their advanced consciousness, human beings are naturally inclined to travel in outer space and to reach other planets, either by spaceships, mystic powers, or demigod worship. In the Vedic scriptures, it is said that one can reach other planets by any one of these 3 ways. But the most common way is by worshipping the demigod presiding over a particular planet. In this way, one can reach the moon planet, the sun planet, and even Brahmaloka, the topmost planet in this universe. However, All planets in the material universe are temporary residences. The only permanent planet are the Vaikuntha Lokas. These are found in the spiritual sky, where the personality of Godhead himself predominates. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 8.16, Abrahma Bhuna Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna Mam Upetyeya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attained my abode, O son of Kunti, never take birth again.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So Prabhupada is describing there are 3 ways to go to the higher planets. Remember? What were the 3 ways? We want to go to the higher planets. We can go by 3 ways.
Mystic yoga.
The mystic power. Or by the spaceship, rocket or something. Or by demigod worship. You worship the demigod, you worship Brahma, you go to Brahmaloka. You worship Shiva, you go to Shiva's planet, Kailash. You worship Indra, you go to the heavenly planets, where Indra lives. So what's the problem to go there? Is it good to go there?
Come back, Maharaj.
Yeah, if we go there, there's also death there. You can't stay there forever. You can go there for some time, and then you may have to come back. Even you go to Brahmaloka, you may wait there for the end of Lord Brahma's life. Lord Brahma lives a long life, long time, right? 100 years. And one day of Brahma's life is a very, very long time on this planet. But Brahma lives 100 years, and then at the end of Brahma's life, then there's annihilation. So then people all have to leave Brahmaloka. Some go to the spiritual world, and some come back again. They enter into Mahavishnu, and then they take birth again. When the night of Brahma is over, when the life of Brahma is over, then there's again creation, and then when there's again creation, then they take birth again. They come back again. So the only permanent place is where? If we don't want birth in, yeah, we have to go to the Vaikuntha Loka, right? Go there. That's the spiritual world. Vaikuntha means no anxiety. The planets where there is no anxiety. Kuntha is anxiety. And Vaikuntha, no anxiety. The spiritual world, no anxiety, no death, no old age, no disease, no coronavirus. No, very nice place. So you can go there, but we have to be qualified. We have to get free from the attachment to this material world. If we're very attached to this world, we come back again. Okay, who's going to read next for us? Anybody? Mary, you want to read? Mary, not here today?
Yes, I'm here today, Maharaj. I'm here.
You going to read?
Yes. Śrī Īśopaniṣad points out that one who worships the demigods and attains to their material planets still remain in the darkest region of the universe. The whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements. It is just like a coconut covered by a shell and half filled with water. Since its covering is airtight, the darkness within is dense, and therefore the sun and the moon are required for illumination. Outside the universe is the vast and unlimited Brahmajyoti expansion, which is filled with Vaikuntha Lokas. The biggest and highest planet in the Brahmajyoti is Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavana, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself resides. Lord Sri Krishna never leaves Krishna Loka. Although he dwells there with his eternal associates, he is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic manifestation. This fact has already been explained in Mantra 4. The Lord is present everywhere, just like the sun, yet he is situated in one place, just as the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit.
So Srila Prabhupada is describing to us about the material universe which we are in. Right? Within the material universe where we are situated, we're like something in a coconut. Just like you get the coconut, it's covered with the shell. You've got some water maybe in the bottom. So this universe is like that. It's a shell and it's very dark. And there's different coverings. There's 8 coverings. One after another, there are 8 coverings. So it's very dark inside. So that's why we have the sun and the moon to give light in the universe. But outside of the universe is the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti, remember we said that's the light, the effulgence which comes from Krishna's body. So that Brahma Jyoti effulgence is spread everywhere, and within that light there are the planets called the Vaikuntha Lokas. Loka means the planet, so Vaikuntha Lokas, the planets of the spiritual world. And in that Brahma Jyoti, the biggest and the very top planet is called Goloka Vrindavan, or Krishna Loka, where Krishna lives. And we say Krishna never leaves there. His residence is there. He never leaves there because he has all of his friends there. He has everything he likes there. But by his power, because he is very powerful, he has different potencies, and he's omnipresent. Omnipresent means he's present everywhere throughout the material and the spiritual creation. So therefore, sometimes he appears in different places, in different universes. He comes. And Prabhupada said, just like the sun. The sun is in one place, but the sunlight is everywhere. So Krishna is in one place, in Krishna Loka, but he appears everywhere by his different energy. It's appearing. Okay, go ahead. Punita, you can read.
Yes, Maharaj. The problems of life cannot be solved simply by going to the moon planet or to some other planet above or below it. Therefore, Śrī Īśopaniṣad advises us not to bother with any destinations within this dark material universe, but to try to get out of it and reach the effulgent kingdom of God. There are many pseudo-worshippers who become religionists only for the sake of name and fame. Such pseudo-religionists do not wish to get out of this universe and reach the spiritual sky. They only want to maintain the status quo in the material world under the garb of worshipping the Lord. The atheists and the impersonalists lead such foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalists support the atheists by stressing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Thus far, we have not come across any mantra in the Śrī Īśopaniṣad in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is denied. It is said that he can run faster than anyone. Those who are running after other planets are certainly persons, and if the Lord can run faster than all of them, how can he be impersonal? The impersonal conception of the Supreme Lord is another form of ignorance arising from an imperfect conception of the Absolute Truth.
Okay, thank you. So Prabhupada is talking about these two kinds of people, the atheists and the impersonalists. And he says they lead such foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. So pseudo-religionists are first of all, those people they're not really religionists, but they pretend, they make a show that they're religious. And his Prabhupada said, they don't want to get out of the material world. They don't want to go to the spiritual sky. What do they want? What do the pseudo-religionists want?
To stay in the material world.
Yeah, but in what kind of condition?
They want
name and fame.
Name and fame.
Yeah, they want to be comfortable. They want name and fame. Yeah, they want to enjoy the material world, right? They're looking for comfort, for pleasure in the material world. They want name and fame. Yeah, they want it like that. With name and fame, then they'll get luxuries and comfort and everything. So they think of religion like that, for that. So there are people called atheists. First of all, atheist, he doesn't believe in God outright. He said there's no God. And we get a lot of these people. They have even their own groups, their own society. Just like we have a society for Krishna consciousness, the atheists, they have their atheist society. And they make propaganda. They try to convince people that there's no God, that why should believe in God? Oh no, it's not true, it's all both. The atheists are very nasty people sometimes, and they can give a lot of trouble. So there are atheists, right? We said, what is the difference between human being and animals? Do you remember, Mary?
As a human being, we must inquire and
inquire about what?
Inquires about how to serve the Lord. We have the chance to serve the Lord compared to animals. Who we inquire, who am I?
Yeah,
and who is God?
We have to ask, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering?
Yes.
Where will I go at the time of death? What will happen to me? Just like when a person dies, what do we say? We will say, they have gone. Huh? We will say, they've gone. They've departed, they've left us. Right? What's gone? The body is still there. So what is God?
Soul, Atma.
Yeah, the soul. The soul leaves the body. So we have to understand, who am I? Why am I suffering? Why am I here? These questions, right? We should inquire like that. The atheist, he will say, there is no God. There is no one in control. And they will argue that if there's a God, look, why are people suffering? You see everywhere so much suffering. Some people are starving. Some people are going no home. Some people are very diseased. You think there's a God? If there's a God, why so much suffering? So they cannot understand why there is suffering. They cannot understand that there's a soul within the body. They're atheists. They're like the foolish animal. Just like you get the rabbit. Sometimes the rabbit, what they will do when people are hunting, they will simply close their eyes and think nobody's coming. They will close their eyes. So atheists are like that. They close their eyes. Although we can see God everywhere, in so many ways. We're saying there's no God. So the atheists, they don't have the eyes. They don't want to see. Like the owl. The owl closes his eyes in the daytime and he opens his eyes at night. And then at night, the owl will say, I never saw any sun. I didn't see the sun. Everyone else said, no, there was a big sun in the sky. It was very hot. But the owl will say, I never saw any sun, because the owl closed his eyes, had his eyes closed all day, so he couldn't see the sun. So atheists are like that. They don't see God. Although there's so many signs of God, they never see him. So we're trying to teach people about God, to understand there is God. But the atheists, they don't like to accept that there can be God. And then you have people who are called impersonalists. And the impersonalists said, they will say, we're all God. They will say, everyone's God. I am God, you're God, we're all God. They're saying like that. And ultimately, God is simply light. They say, they will argue like that. So if everyone is God, then there's no meaning to God anymore. Because when we look in the God means the supreme person, one above everyone. But impersonalists, they say, no, everyone's God, it's all one, it's all the same. Then everyone's God. Then no meaning to God anymore. Doesn't mean anything, no point. So they're also atheists, the atheists and the impersonalists. They both influence people. Very common to get these two kinds of people, atheists and impersonalists. The atheist, it says no God, and the impersonalist says everybody's God. So they're both teaching the wrong knowledge. They have no real knowledge. It's only their own ignorance. But they influence people and they take people into hell by their teaching. So the atheist denies God, the impersonalists support the atheists by saying God is without personality. That he says he has no personality, but everybody's without personality. We're all God, and we're all part of the energy of the oneness. I'm not a person, you're not a person, we're just all energy. And so Prabhupada is arguing against this. He says in the Śrī Īśopaniṣad, there are so many things about God being a person, because we heard that he can run faster than anyone. Although he's in his abode, he can overcome all others running. So he can run faster than anyone. So he's a person. We have to understand how to deal with these kind of people. Go ahead. Who can read now? Who has not read?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Today I can read.
Who is this?
This Jolene.
Oh, Jolene. Okay, yeah, please.
The ignorant pseudo-religionists and the manufacturers of so-called incarnations who directly violate the Vedic injunctions are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe because they mislead those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to fool persons who have no knowledge of Vedic wisdom. If such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Such impersonalists do not even worship the demigods according to the scriptural recommendations. In the scriptures, there are recommendations for worshipping demigods under certain circumstances. But at the same time, these scriptures state that there is normally no need for this. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 23, it is clearly stated that the results derived from worshipping the demigods are not permanent. Since the entire material universe is impermanent, whatever is achieved within the darkest of material existence is also impermanent. The question is how to obtain real and permanent life.
Okay, thank you. So the impersonalists, what is their approach to what are they teaching? Ignorant pseudo-religionists and the manufacturers of so-called incarnations enter into, because they mislead the people who follow them. So impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to foolish persons. So somebody may say like that they're an incarnation of God. How will we deal with them? What will we do? We can offer obeisances to them, right? If they're an incarnation of God, oh, please accept my humble obeisances. I'm so lucky I could meet God, right?
No.
What should we do? How should we deal with them?
We ask them questions.
What?
We ask them questions. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj, we can't hear you, Maharaj.
I'm here, I can hear.
Okay,
I
Maharaj.
can't hear.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
What did you want to say, Maraji? What were you going to say?
Can we ask them questions?
What questions?
Why are you saying that you are a God? What qualifications do you have?
To show Vishwarup Maharaj, is it Vishwarup?
Huh?
To show
Show
is
your
Vishwarup.
universal form? Yeah, you can ask them to show the universal form. Krishna showed the universal. Maraji, you got to do something about your mic, you know, you're really giving us a hard time here with your microphone. When you speak, you can't understand what you say. So somebody says they're an incarnation of God, it should be mentioned in the scriptures. The information on the incarnations of God is all there in the scriptures. So if somebody's an incarnation, it should be stated there. They should be described, where they take birth and what their activity, what they'll do. So incarnations of God are all mentioned in the scriptures. But these people, they don't have any knowledge of Vedic scriptures. And so foolish. They claim they're God. So Prabhupada said, if they have any knowledge at all, it's more dangerous than being ignorant. The better they're just ignorant, because whatever they know, they'll use it in the wrong way. And the impersonalists, they worship the demigods. They do not worship the demigods in the proper manner. They'll do their own way. But if you're going to worship the demigods, we have to do it in the proper manner, according to the scriptures. So there's a need to, we want to worship the demigods, we should worship them according to the scriptures. No, you can't just invent your own way, just do everything how you think it should be done. You have to follow scripture. So the results from worshipping the demigods are not permanent. Entire material universe is impermanent. So how to get real life, permanent life? So this is described now. Okay, who's not read yet? What about Keshava Damodar Prabhu? Is he there? Can you read? No? Nantini, you can read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, can you hear me?
Yes.
The Lord states that as soon as one reaches Him by devotional service, which is one and only way to approach the personality of Godhead, one attains complete freedom from the bondage of birth and death. In other words, the path of salvation from the material clutches fully depends on the principles of knowledge and detachment gained from serving the Lord. The pseudo-religionists have neither knowledge nor detachment from material affairs, for most of them want to live in the golden shackles of material bondage under the shadow of philanthropic activities disguised as religious principles. By a false display of religious sentiments, they present a show of devotional service while indulging in all sorts of immoral activities. In this way, they pass as spiritual masters and devotees of God. Such violators of religious principles have no respect for the authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in the strict disciplic succession. They ignore the Vedic injunction, Acharyopasana. One must worship the Acharya, and Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 2, Evam Parampara Praptam. The supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession. Instead, to mislead the people in general, they themselves become so-called acharyas, but they do not even follow the principles of the acharyas.
Okay, so what is important? They want to, if they want to get free from material bondage, what is necessary?
Devotional service.
And when you do devotional service, what qualities will you get?
Knowledge and detachment.
Yes. Remember I said earlier this evening, knowledge, gyan, and detachment, vairagya. These two things, they follow wherever there is proper devotion. So we want to approach Krishna, we have to approach him by devotional service. So we want to get this kind of knowledge and detachment. And we get it by doing service to Krishna. But these so-called people who are religious, they don't have knowledge and they don't have detachment. They just want to enjoy the material world and they make a show of religion. Sometimes they even make a show of devotional service. But sometimes they're doing also immoral things. So in this way, they create a very bad situation, give people a very bad impression about religion. They think, just like Karl Marx Karl Marx, he wrote about communism, the socialist philosophy, said religion is opium of the people. He said like that. He said the opium of the people is like a drug. He said it was not good for the people because he only saw bad things coming from religious people, so-called religious people. They were all cheaters. They were all bad people. They were not honest people. So the actual process is you must approach the Acharya, Acharyopasanam. You have to worship the Acharya. This is it. From the Bhagavad Gita, we have to follow the disciplic succession. Parampara praptam. The science is received through the disciplic succession. But even Lord Krishna says, Yoga nashta parantapa, that the knowledge was lost. In course of time, the knowledge was lost. Krishna had to come again to re-establish it. So we have to be very careful, to follow carefully, not to change anything. But these people, they become the acharyas. They don't follow the real principles of the acharyas, but they become the acharya. Okay, Rukmini Pati Prabhu, you can read this last paragraph for us.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in human society. Because there is no religious government, they escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita that envious demons in the garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest regions of hell. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text 9 to 20. 19 to 20. Śrī Īśopaniṣad confirms that these pseudo-religionists are heading towards the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification.
So you can see Prabhupada is writing very strongly here. Prabhupada is saying very strongly, I said, these rogues, the most dangerous elements in human society, you know, they're doing such a bad thing in the name of religion. And what are they trying to do? They're just simply making a business out of religion, out of the spiritual master business. And they're just doing it for their own sense gratification. So it's very bad, creates a very bad, that's why many people become atheists, because they think there's no real religion, there's no proper rule, everybody's a cheater. So this is what happens, this is a problem. So there has to be proper standard. But Prabhupada said the government, they don't check it. There's no religious government. They don't keep a check of what people are teaching, what's being taught to the people. But Prabhupada said Krishna knows. They cannot escape the law of the Supreme. So they'll be punished by Krishna. And the punishment will be, they'll go put into the darkest regions. So like that. So we can escape from the government, but you cannot escape from the supreme government, from the universal government, the law of the Supreme. He knows everything, he sees everything. We cannot escape from him. So in this way, Prabhupada is describing the problem here, that people worshipping different things, some people worshipping demigods, some people worshipping the impersonal, and creating so many problems, not giving the real knowledge. Okay, we will stop here tonight. Did you get that file I sent about the impersonalists and the personalists?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, did you look through it? You can see the difference between the impersonalists and the personalists? Yeah?
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll go on tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hey.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Maharaj.
Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.